Fundamentals to achieving any basketball goal. I'm Tony. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Overheat to know I'm hot, boy. We gon' need a lie detector if I'm not, boy. You can hear my engine rumble in the lot, boy. Game running like it's not. Shoot my shot, look.
Today we're talking about being able to achieve whatever basketball goal you set for yourself. And for those of you who are returning viewers to this channel, you know I'm a big fundamentals guy. I'm a big basics guy. The reason for that is I believe the stronger your foundation is, anything that branches then from that foundation is going to be that much stronger because of it. So today we're dealing with the basics of how to achieve whatever life and or basketball goals you may have. But there are 2 points I want you guys to keep in mind as you watch the rest of this video. Point number 1 is the pursuit of whatever goal you have is the most important part of this journey. It is the pursuit, the energy, the effort of trying to achieve it that matters most. If you achieve that goal, if you end up achieving it, that's great, but it's kind of in the vein of you're supposed to achieve that goal, meaning you put everything you could into trying to achieve that goal. If you achieve it, then you were kind of supposed to because you actually tried to achieve it. You put everything you had into achieving it. Therefore, of course you achieved it. If you fall short of achieving that goal, then it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you need to either try again, try harder, try smarter, try better, or maybe even modify that goal. But succeeding or failing are not nearly as important as the mere effort in trying to achieve that goal. Point number 2 is whatever goal you set for yourself, you genuinely have to be able to connect with it mentally, connect with it emotionally, meaning it really has to have meaning to you. You really have to value it for yourself. For instance, if you want to be a great three-point shooter, if that's your goal, and the reason it is because you know everyone else around you is trying to be a three-point shooter as well, that's fine, that's great, but does that actually matter to you, or are you just doing it because everyone else is doing it? If it doesn't really matter to you, then that's fine. Don't have that goal. It's not for you. You need to be able to connect and value whatever goals you set for yourself. Otherwise, the pursuit of them is never going to be successful in the way that you want them to be, because even if you do succeed at achieving those goals, they're not going to be meaningful. You will have put yourself through all that effort and that time to achieve that goal for something that doesn't really even matter to you. Also, if it doesn't really matter to you, then maybe you're not even going to be able to muster up that energy and that time to be able to achieve that goal. So whatever goals you do set up for yourself, make sure that number 1, you actually pay attention to the pursuit and the effort of trying to achieve those goals and enjoy that journey. And number 2, that you actually, those goals mean something to you and they actually connect with you personally. The first important fundamental to keep in mind when you're trying to accomplish whatever basketball goal you set for yourself is obvious but still important. That is to actually have and set goals. Meaning it is not enough just to think to yourself, I want to be good at basketball, that's my goal. Problem with that goal is, how do you know when you've either achieved that goal or if you're doing well or not in trying to achieve it? Well, basically you don't, because you don't know what it means. There's no definition there. There's no specificity of what does it mean to be good at basketball to you. So step number 1 should be actually set goals for yourself, and the more specific they are, the better. If you don't know what goals to set or what goals you want to achieve, that's fine. You just have to ask yourself, what does this mean to you out here? What are you trying to get out of this? And there is no wrong answer, right? Whatever it means to you, however you connect to the game, whatever you're trying to get out of it is perfectly fine. You don't have to have the same goals as the other players around you. Most of the people I grew up with grew up wanting to play high school basketball because they wanted to be popular in high school. If they got in the high school basketball team and they were good at basketball on that team, they knew they were going to be popular. That was not a goal of mine. My goal was be the best player I can be at outdoor recreational basketball. I didn't know anyone else who had that goal besides myself. At least no one who took it as seriously as I did. But that was fine for me because it really meant something to me. I really connected with it. So whatever goal you set for yourself is perfectly fine. In fact, to me, the more unconventional it is, the better. But have that goal be as clear and specific as you can. One of the big reasons people avoid setting goals for themselves is because they are afraid to fail. They think if I set a goal and I get specific about it, if I don't reach that goal, that means I fail. If I fail, that means I'm going to feel terrible. I don't want to do that. I'm afraid of feeling terrible. Therefore, I won't set any goals in the first place. But that is exactly why you're setting goals. That is exactly why you're getting specific about them. Because then you can measure where you are, how close you are to achieving them, how good you're doing on your path to trying to pursue them. You need to be able to measure that. So the more specific you are, the better measurement you're going to have. The better measurement you have, the more information you have as to where am I on that path? How far down the line am I to achieving it? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? It gives you more information, but it also means the more specific you are, that the more easily it is for you to not achieve whatever goal you've set for yourself, then making you feel like a failure. My point to being afraid to fail is basically get over it, because you're not out here to be safe. You're not out here to play it safe, right? You're out here to enjoy yourself and explore your potential and see what you can do. You're not going to be able to achieve that. You're not going to be able to explore that unless you have failure along the way. It's going to happen. You have to accept it. So set the goals, know that failure is going to come along with it, and get as specific as you can so that you can get as much information along that pursuit as possible, then allowing you to improve as much as possible along that road. So that's step number one. Set those goals, get specific about them, get as much information about them as you can, and pursue them over and over again until you have achieved what you want to achieve. The second basic step to achieving any basketball goal is to clearly envision that goal. The better you can see that goal, the more likely you are to make the right decisions in the pursuit of that goal. So in your mind, the clearer you can make that image, that vision, that picture of whatever you want that goal to be, the more likely it is that every single tiny or large decision you make going forward that involves that goal, it is much more likely that you make positive decisions that ensure you are pursuing that goal and not negating it. If you have that picture clear in your mind, if you've seared it in your mind that your goal is to become a great three-point shooter, and because it's so clear in your mind, it's there all the time, you see it all the time, you're always thinking about it, then your decision is going to become much easier because you're obsessed with that image in your mind of becoming a three-point shooter. You are going to go out to the court and get that work in instead of getting online with your friends and spending that time that you could have been on the court. Instead, now you're sitting and playing video games online with your friends when you could be putting your work in like you had planned. Making that decision to come out to the court, get that work in, is going to be so much of an easier decision for you to make because you have that clear picture in your head. You may want to do both things, but you've set in your mind that picture that is so important to you, that makes your decision making so much easier going forward. And the more tactile you can make that vision, that goal, the better. So for instance, write that goal down. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, write that goal down, stick it to a wall, stick it someplace where you're constantly going to be seeing it, constantly going to be reading it. That way you've made it tactile, you've made it real before you even achieved it. Sure, you could open your phone and you could write down that goal in the notes of your phone, but how often are you going to look at it? Maybe you'll look at it once a day for a week, but are you going to continue to look at that because it's digital and it's not real? Are you going to look at that every day until you've accomplished your goal? Probably not, because it's not tactile, it's not real. So instead, make it tactile, make it real, write it down, stick it someplace where you're constantly going to be seeing it and reading it and reinforcing it in your mind. The more you read it, the more you see it, the more clearer you're going to make that picture in your mind. Whatever you need to do to make it real, to make it tactile, and make that vision in your mind as clear as possible of what you're trying to achieve, the better, faster you're going to be able to achieve that goal. Step number 3 to achieving your basketball goals is knowing and understanding your whys. Why you're trying to achieve this goal, why it means so much to you, why it connects with you, why it means so much for you to pursue it. The reason this is such an important part of setting and achieving your goals is because if you don't understand why you're trying to do something, how are you supposed to connect with it? Also, in the process of trying to understand why you're trying to achieve a goal, maybe you come to the discovery that that goal doesn't really actually mean what you thought it was going to mean to you. Maybe it doesn't have the kind of value you thought it was going to have. That's perfectly fine and perfectly normal. Your goals are meant to change and evolve over time. Just because you thought at the beginning you were going to have a specific goal and then you go through all this pondering to flesh it out so that you can be as successful as you possibly can, it's very normal that you discover, oh, that's not really what I want. Let me move on to something better. But it's important to understand why you're trying to achieve something. That way, if it doesn't actually mean something to you, if you don't actually want it, then you don't go forward and put in that time and effort that it's going to take to achieve it. Your time and effort can be used more wisely in pursuit of another goal that does actually matter to you. Also, the more you understand why you're doing something, the better you're going to be able to put in that time and effort, because you're going to understand, okay, this is why something means X, Y, and Z to me. When I was in high school, there would be many times like early on a Saturday or Sunday morning when I'd be on a court, or maybe like a Friday afternoon, Friday night, I would be on the court, right? And there'd be other things going on. There'd be like parties going on. There'd be something going on where I would have, and this has happened to me in the past multiple times, people would come up to me and ask me why I was on the court at that specific time. Like, why are you out here right now? There's something else going on. Why aren't you over there at the other thing doing that instead of being out here on the court? When I was questioned about those things, I could easily give those people my why. The reason I'm out here right now instead of over at the other thing, or the reason I'm out here right now at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning, is because I have work to do. I have stuff I need to improve on, I want to improve on. I have a purpose for being out here right now. I know what my purpose is. I understand it because I understand my whys of what my goals are. I could explain that to anyone who asked, but more importantly, I understood it for myself, and I knew there was true, genuine meaning there for me. So whatever your goals are, or whatever your whys are for achieving those goals, they do not have to be conventional. No one else around you has to understand them or agree with them either. Your goals and why you're trying to achieve them could be way outside any conventional box, any conventional thinking or understanding of the people around you. That's perfectly fine as long as it makes sense to you and as long as it matters to you. To me, the more unconventional your goals are, the more unconventional your whys for achieving those goals are, the better. Because that means you're separating yourself from all the other basketball players out here. What's the point of having all the same goals of everybody else and having all the same whys as everybody else? That means you're just going to turn into the average basketball player out here. But the point of this channel is to help you become the best basketball player you can be, which is probably going to mean better than all the other players out here. And you can't do that by doing and thinking and wanting and understanding the same things the exact same way that they do. So if your goals and or your whys are unconventional, nobody else understands them, nobody else gets them, nobody else agrees with them, that's perfectly fine as long as you understand them and they mean something to you. Those are the fundamentals to achieving any basketball goal. You can't hit a target that you don't have, so you need to actually have the goal, you need to actually see it clearly, and you need to understand why you're doing it. If you can do that with every goal that you set, like the deeper you can go with any goal that you're trying to achieve, with those three aspects of goal setting, the better, faster, and easier any goal you're trying to achieve is going to become. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, if you think it's going to help you to be able to achieve whatever goals you may set for yourself out here on the court, then please subscribe to the channel. And let us know down in the comments, what do you do? What have you done in the past that has helped you to be able to achieve whatever goals you've set for yourself out here on the basketball court? But before you comment, make sure you hit that thanks button down below, because when you hit that thanks button, not only does it make every comment you make stand out because it's highlighted from all the other comments, but it also directly supports this channel. So for anyone who does hit that thanks button, know I genuinely appreciate it. As always, like, share, comment. Like I said, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever any video goes live on this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, grab the keys, gotta flee, get the fee. Yeah, I'm the man, CD make it hard to leave. Yeah, got it all, when I got it, it was cheap. Yeah, every time they talk, it just get back to me.